You think she only sees you as a friend. Notice this. She is secretly attracted to you. Psychology tricks. Attraction doesn't always speak out loud. Sometimes it slips out before it can be hidden. She says you're just friends. She laughs, talks to you about other men, and never openly flirts. So you assume that's your place. But here's the truth most men miss. Sometimes she's not lying to you, she's lying to herself. Every time you're together, there's a 3-second moment when her body reacts before her words catch up. Almost no men notice it. But once you do, you can't unsee it. It shows up as a longer look, a sudden shift closer, a change in her voice, or a quick glance at your lips. Then she pulls back and resets the just friends act. That's the uncomfortable part. If you keep acting harmless when attraction is already there, you don't protect the friendship, you quietly kill the spark. And once you see that 3-second truth, you can't keep pretending it means nothing. 1. Attraction denial, the psychological phenomenon. There's a psychological phenomenon called attraction denial, and it's far more common than most men realize, especially when you're living in that frustrating gray zone where she smiles at you, talks to you, confides in you, and still drops the classic line, "You're just a friend." Here's the twist. Sometimes she's not lying to you, she's lying to herself. That is the strange magic of the mind. In female psychology, a woman can suppress attraction so thoroughly that she genuinely believes she feels nothing romantic at all, even while her deeper instincts are lighting up like a dashboard full of warning lights. Don't argue with her words. Don't interrogate her feelings. Be smarter than that. Watch what her body does when her mind is trying to stay reasonable. Because when attraction denial is in play, the conscious mind writes the script, but the subconscious keeps improvising, and it does it through signals she can't fully stage manage. That's where psychology tricks become less about manipulation and more about observation, seeing what's real without begging for a confession. And yes, researchers have pointed to 4 involuntary responses that tend to show up when she's near a man she's secretly drawn to, responses that are hard to fake, hard to hide, and harder to control when the moment catches her off guard. You must understand. These are not guarantees, they're clues, and your job is to notice patterns, not chase a single sign like it's a verdict. First, pay attention to microshifts in proximity. She may claim she's comfortable as friends, yet she consistently closes distance without realizing it, standing a little closer than necessary, angling her body toward you, finding reasons to be in your orbit even when she could easily drift elsewhere. Don't dismiss it. Be alert. If she repeatedly chooses closeness when there's no practical reason, that's information. Second, notice the voice and rhythm change. Her tone can soften, slow, or warm when she talks to you compared to how she talks to other people, less performative, more intimate, like she's stepping into a quieter room. That is female psychology in motion. When a woman feels safe and drawn in, her voice often signals it before her words do. Third, watch for the automatic grooming and reset behaviors, the quick hair touch, the shirt smoothing, the necklace adjustment, the subtle lip press, the small posture correction that happens right after she notices you're paying attention. Don't overinterpret one hair flip. Be disciplined. But if those little, "I want to look put together right now" moments reliably show up around you, that's another clue that her subconscious is invested. Now the fourth one. This is the one that often happens in that razor-thin 3-second window when she doesn't have time to put her mask back on. The flash of expression that crosses her face when you arrive, when you compliment her, when you say another woman's name, or when you casually imply you might be unavailable. It can be a quick brightening of the eyes, a tiny surprised smile, a flicker of disappointment, or a split-second look that says, "Wait, what?" before she recomposes and returns to the safe, friendly script. Don't miss it. Be present. That quick slip is the subconscious speaking before the conscious mind regains control, and when you catch it, you'll often have that moment where everything finally clicks. Why she texts you late, but calls it nothing. Why she gets a little tense when you date someone else, but claims she's happy for you. Why she leans on you emotionally, yet keeps the label locked in the friend zone. This is where psychology tricks, real ones, not cheesy gimmicks, matter. Don't chase her. Don't pressure her. Don't demand a declaration. Be steady. Be attractive through restraint. That is how to fall in love without turning yourself into a salesman begging for a sale. If attraction denial is happening, your power move is not confrontation, it's clarity. You must keep your standards, keep your pace, and stop volunteering boyfriend energy for a friend title. Be warm, but don't be endlessly available. Be direct, but don't be dramatic. And when you see these signals stacking, proximity, tone shifts, grooming resets, and that 3-second flash, don't treat it like a courtroom conviction. Treat it like a compass. In female psychology, feelings often grow where safety and mystery coexist. She wants comfort, but she also wants to feel something. So don't smother the spark with constant reassurance. Don't punish her for being cautious. Be the man who can hold the tension without panicking. That is how to fall in love in a way that feels natural, not forced. Use psychology tricks the right way, notice patterns, respect boundaries, and lead with calm confidence. And remember, attraction denial doesn't mean she's playing games. It often means she's protecting herself, protecting her image, or protecting the friendship she's afraid to risk. If you want a real shot, be consistent and self-respecting, and let your actions do the persuasion. In the end, how to fall in love isn't about winning her, it's about creating the conditions where she can stop fighting what she already feels. And in female psychology, the body usually tells the truth long before the mouth catches up. 2. The truth about the friend zone nobody talks about begins with a contradiction that most men aren't prepared to hear, and yes, it might mess with your head a little. The reason she keeps you in the friend zone might actually be because she's too attracted to you. Stay with me. I know that sounds backwards. It feels like saying fire is cold or silence is loud. But once you understand the psychology behind it, the picture sharpens fast. Don't assume rejection is always disinterest. Be careful with that shortcut. Sometimes what looks like distance is actually restraint, and that distinction matters, especially if you're trying to move through the world as a high-value man who understands nuance instead of reacting emotionally. Picture this, exactly as it plays out in real life. She hangs out with you constantly, not occasionally, not when she's bored. Constantly. She shares her deepest secrets, the ones she doesn't casually hand out. She trusts you more than almost anyone. She chooses to spend Friday nights with you instead of going out, instead of chasing novelty, instead of swiping on strangers. That is not random. That is not accidental. That is investment. Yet the moment you hint at something romantic, she pulls back. She laughs it off. She softens her voice and says those painful words, "You're such a good friend." And suddenly you're stuck in that familiar spiral, asking yourself, am I really just a friend? Or is there something I'm completely missing? That confusion isn't weakness. It's a signal you're standing at the edge of something complicated. Here's what's actually happening, and this is the part that flips everything upside down. Women don't friend zone men they genuinely aren't attracted to. They don't keep them close. They don't open up emotionally. They don't prioritize time with them. They simply disappear. They ghost. They let the connection fade naturally after a few weeks, sometimes days. Think about it honestly. How many men has she actually kept around long term? Probably not many. But you? You're still here months later, maybe years later. She's investing time, energy, and emotional intimacy into you. That is not neutral behavior. That is selective behavior. That is attraction with hesitation, not indifference. Don't confuse access with clarity. Be precise. Attraction doesn't always move forward in a straight line. Sometimes it circles. Sometimes it pauses. Sometimes it hides behind safety. For many women, strong attraction creates risk. Risk to the friendship. Risk to emotional stability. Risk to control. So instead of leaning in, they compartmentalize. They label you friend not because you lack appeal, but because the label gives them structure. It gives them a box to put feelings in while they decide what to do with them. That's female behavior rooted in protection, not dismissal. This is where many men lose their footing. They start overgiving, over-listening, over-accommodating. Don't do that. Don't try to earn desire through endless availability. Be grounded. Be centered. A high-value man doesn't collapse into the role he's assigned if it doesn't match his intent. He observes. He adjusts. He maintains his frame. That doesn't mean being cold. It means being clear. Emotional intimacy without direction creates stagnation, not romance. If you want to attract women, you must understand that attraction often grows in tension, not comfort alone. Comfort keeps you close. Tension creates movement. And tension is born from polarity, from presence, from confidence, from a sense that you have a life that doesn't orbit her approval. This is where masculine energy quietly does its work. Not through force, not through pressure, through calm certainty, through boundaries, through knowing when to lean back instead of forward. Notice how she reacts when you're less available. Notice the shift when you mention plans that don't include her. Notice how her tone changes when other women enter the conversation. Don't weaponize this. Be aware of it. Awareness is power when it's paired with restraint. You must resist the urge to demand clarity before the moment is ripe. Premature confrontation kills attraction faster than silence ever could. That doesn't mean waiting forever. Be decisive internally. If you want more than friendship, your behavior must align with that truth. Don't pretend to be satisfied with less while hoping for more. That internal conflict leaks out. Instead, maintain warmth without overinvestment. Show interest without surrendering your direction. This balance is exactly what allows a woman to reevaluate the box she's put you in. And remember this: the friend zone is not a sentence. It's a snapshot. Snapshots change when the subject moves. When you step fully into yourself, when you embody masculine energy with ease, when you act like a high-value man who knows his worth, when you naturally attract women by living with purpose, you stop trying to escape the friend zone and start outgrowing it. That is the shift. That is the quiet power play, not manipulation. Alignment. So don't panic. Don't over-explain. Be steady. Be intentional. And above all, don't underestimate the possibility that what you're interpreting as rejection may actually be attraction waiting for the right conditions to surface. And if this hit a nerve, don't stay silent, act. Drop a comment right now and write, "I see the signs. I trust my value." Say it publicly. Lock it in. Because clarity changes behavior, and behavior changes outcomes. Like this video if you're done misreading signals. Subscribe if you're ready to stop guessing and start seeing the truth. And remind yourself daily, if she keeps you close, there's a reason, and it's not accidental. 3. What science reveals about just friends. What science quietly reveals about just friends will change how you read every glance, every pause, every casual message. Because beneath the label is a pattern that shows up again and again in real life. When a woman says you are only a friend, her body may still react as if you matter far more. And research in social psychology has shown that women in so-called platonic bonds with men often display the same physical signals, faster heartbeat, heightened awareness, subtle excitement, as they do in romantic bonds, which means the label is not the truth. It is a strategy. And as Mark Twain once said, if you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you read the newspaper, you're misinformed, reminding us that what people say on the surface often hides what is really happening underneath. So in modern life, where communication is fast and feelings are guarded, many women choose safety over exposure, choosing the comfort of friendship language while quietly managing attraction. Because psychology shows that when someone senses their interest might not be returned, the mind moves to protect pride and emotional balance by downplaying desire, not because it isn't there, but because the risk feels too high. And this is where Old Stoic wisdom matters, because Stoicism win is not about chasing signals or forcing outcomes. It is about seeing reality clearly, staying calm, and acting with intention. And if you carry an iron mind, you understand that attraction is rarely loud. It is often restrained, measured, contained, especially among emotionally intelligent adults. And in a world where everyone fears rejection, people hide behind definitions to stay in control. So when she repeatedly emphasizes just friends, do not panic and do not fantasize. Observe. because repetition is often reassurance directed inward, not outward. And as Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate, meaning that unspoken attraction still influences behavior even when words deny it. So your role is not to decode every text, but to lead yourself with clarity. Because confidence is quiet, patience is powerful, and self-respect is magnetic. And this is where modern advice meets ancient discipline. Do not argue with labels, outgrow them. Live well, move with purpose, and let your actions speak with consistency. Because people respond to grounded energy more than explanations. And when you stop seeking confirmation and start building a life you respect, conversations change, tone changes, interest shifts. And this is not manipulation, it is alignment. And as Theodore Roosevelt said, speak softly and carry a big stick, which in modern terms means stay calm while strengthening your position. So focus on health, direction, and presence. Because attraction follows stability, and stability follows discipline, and discipline is the daily practice of an iron mind. And when you embody Old Stoic wisdom, you stop asking, "Does she like me?" and start asking, "Am I living in a way that invites respect and curiosity?" Because Stoicism win is choosing mastery over anxiety, clarity over confusion, and action over overthinking. And in today's world of mixed signals and blurred boundaries, the man who wins is the man who remains centered, who does not rush, who does not pressure, who does not beg for clarity, but calmly creates space for truth to surface. Because feelings eventually seek expression when safety and confidence are present. And if they do not, you lose nothing, because you have not compromised your standards or your direction. And as Epictetus taught, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do, which is a reminder that attraction should never be the foundation of your identity. It should be a byproduct of your character. So take this knowledge not as a trick, but as a lens. See human behavior for what it is, protect your dignity, strengthen your life, and move forward with certainty. Because when you walk with an iron mind, grounded in Old Stoic wisdom, you stop chasing outcomes and start creating them. And that is how Stoicism win becomes real, not just in relationships, but in life itself. 4. Fear of loss and subconscious truth. Here's the part most men never slow down enough to truly understand, and it changes everything once it clicks. You think she only sees you as a friend, but the truth often runs much deeper because what looks like indifference on the surface is frequently fear working quietly underneath. Fear of loss is powerful. Be honest about her past. Her relationships didn't gently fade away. They ended with disappointment, distance, and emotional cost. That history teaches her one silent lesson: romance feels risky, while friendship feels safe. In her mind, keeping you close as a friend is a way to protect something precious without putting it on the line. Don't assume that means a lack of attraction. That is the mistake most men make. She may value you so much that the idea of losing you completely feels unbearable, so she chooses the one role where you are least likely to disappear. Be aware of this. The friend zone is not always rejection. Sometimes it's preservation. But here's where female psychology reveals its quiet contradictions. Her conscious mind tells her to stay safe, to keep things stable, to avoid another emotional loss. Her subconscious, however, doesn't negotiate. It reacts. It wants. It leaks the truth in moments she cannot control. Watch her eyes when she thinks you're distracted. Notice how her body subtly angles toward yours, even when there's no reason to move closer. Pay attention to how she mirrors your posture, your energy, your pace of speech. These are not accidents. These are psychology tricks the mind plays when attraction is present but unspoken. Don't ignore the pauses in her voice when you talk about other women. Don't dismiss the softness that appears when she laughs with you, the warmth that doesn't show up with other men. That is her subconscious stepping forward, revealing what her words refuse to say. Be clear about this. Attraction doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it hides behind logic and caution and the label of friendship. You must understand that how to fall in love is rarely linear for her, especially when past pain is involved. She isn't playing games, she's managing fear. And fear doesn't erase desire, it redirects it. That is why she may test you in subtle ways, pulling slightly closer, then retreating, asking personal questions, then changing the subject. These push and pull moments are not confusion, they're internal negotiation. Her subconscious wants connection, intimacy, and emotional safety all at once, and those things don't always arrive neatly packaged. Be patient, but don't be passive. Don't rush her with pressure or labels. Don't confront her with accusations or demand clarity she isn't ready to voice. Be steady. Be grounded. Be the man who doesn't panic when things feel undefined. That calm presence matters more than clever lines or forced confidence. Psychology tricks don't work when they're aggressive. They work when they align with human nature. Understand female psychology enough to recognize that attraction grows when she feels emotionally safe and quietly intrigued at the same time. That is how to fall in love without forcing it. When she feels that being close to you doesn't threaten loss, but instead offers consistency, warmth, and emotional depth, her fear loosens its grip. And when fear fades, attraction doesn't need to hide anymore. Watch closely because the signs are already there. She remembers small details about you. She checks in without a reason. She shares things she doesn't share with others. These are not friendly habits. These are emotional investments. Be aware. Be intentional. Don't stay stuck in the role of the safe listener forever. Lead gently. Create moments that feel different from friendship without making her feel cornered. That balance is everything. Psychology tricks, female psychology, how to fall in love. These aren't about manipulation. They're about awareness. When you see what's really happening beneath the surface, you stop guessing and start responding wisely. And that's when the dynamic shifts, not because you forced it, but because you finally understood what she was quietly trying to protect all along. If this message resonates with you, don't just watch and move on. Like this video, share it with a man who needs clarity, and subscribe to the channel for deeper insights into attraction, confidence, and understanding human behavior. Most importantly, interact with the energy of this message. Words shape mindset, and mindset shapes outcomes. Comment the affirmation below to lock this truth into your awareness and remind yourself of your value every time you return here. 5. The 5 involuntary signs she cannot hide. Here's what most men never slow down enough to see, even though it plays out right in front of them again and again. You think she only sees you as a friend. You tell yourself that story because it feels safer than uncertainty. But attraction doesn't live in stories. It lives in the body. It lives in reactions that happen before words, before logic, before excuses. And once you understand that, everything shifts. Not emotionally, strategically, calmly, clearly. This is the mindset of a high-value man, someone who doesn't guess, doesn't chase illusions, and doesn't ignore reality when it's quietly revealing itself. There is one physical response that happens automatically every single time she is near someone she feels attracted to. It's biological. It's involuntary. And she has zero control over it. You'll understand exactly what that is soon enough. But first, you must understand the entire pattern because attraction is never a single signal. It's a system, a sequence, a rhythm. One sign alone can be coincidence. Several signs appearing together, repeatedly, in the same direction, that is truth surfacing through behavior. Don't rush this. Be observant. Be patient. That restraint is masculine energy in action, and it's one of the reasons men who understand women tend to attract women without forcing anything. So, what are these signs, and why do they matter so much? Especially the one that appears in that brief 3-second window. Let's break them down carefully. Not emotionally, not wishfully, but with clarity. Because clarity is what separates a man who reacts from a man who leads. Before going deeper, pause and reflect for a moment. If you've ever been placed in the friend zone, don't turn this into self-criticism. Don't harden yourself. Don't spiral into resentment. Be curious instead. Attraction is not a moral judgment. It's a biological and emotional process. Understanding it is how a high-value man grows, not how he blames. This knowledge exists so you can attract women with presence and awareness, not pressure. The first sign is extended eye contact followed by the look away. This is not a polite glance, not the neutral eye contact people exchange in conversation. This is the moment when her eyes lock with yours, hold just a beat too long, and then she quickly looks down or away, often with a soft smile or a nervous laugh. That moment matters. That pause matters. That retreat matters. Because that is not casual. That is nervous attraction revealing itself before her conscious mind can intervene. In that instant, her brain lights up. Not poetically, chemically. Her attention narrows. Time slows slightly. And then her self-awareness snaps back online. She realizes she held too long. She pulls away. The look away is not disinterest. It's self-protection. She caught herself looking at you the way she looks at someone she's drawn to, and she doesn't want to expose that too easily. Be aware of this. Attraction often lives right at the edge of restraint. What makes this even more powerful is that eye contact doesn't just signal attraction. It creates it. Research has shown that sustained eye contact increases emotional connection and romantic interest, even between strangers. Just 2 minutes of uninterrupted eye contact can intensify feelings of closeness. So when she holds your gaze repeatedly, she's not only expressing attraction, she's reinforcing it inside herself, conditioning her emotional response without realizing it. Now here's the detail most men overlook. When eye contact lasts 3 seconds or more, that's the threshold. That's the tell. Studies consistently show that friendly eye contact rarely exceeds 2 seconds. Anything longer moves into romantic territory. That 3-second window is where interest slips through before control returns. A high-value man doesn't stare her down. He doesn't test or challenge it. He notices, remains composed, and allows the moment to pass naturally. That calm confidence amplifies attraction far more than intensity ever could. The second sign is the lingering touch. This is where attraction becomes physical without becoming obvious. She touches you often. A hand on your arm when she laughs. A playful nudge. Adjusting your sleeve. Brushing something off your shirt that doesn't exist. Yes, friends touch. But the difference is duration. Timing. Frequency. When a woman touches a man she's attracted to, her touch lasts just a little longer. Often half a second to 2 seconds longer than a friendly touch. She may not consciously register it, but your nervous system does. That extra moment is hesitation. It's her subconscious resisting the urge to pull away. It's connection peeking through caution. Pay attention the next time this happens. Don't make it awkward. Don't freeze. Don't overreact. Just notice whether her hand lingers after the reason for the touch has passed. That pause is not random. That's her subconscious trying to create physical closeness without crossing a line she hasn't mentally approved yet. And here's the deeper layer. Touch releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Every time she touches you, her brain strengthens an emotional association with you. She's bonding incrementally, quietly, without deciding to. That's why lingering touch matters more than dramatic gestures. A man who understands this doesn't rush escalation. He doesn't grab more. He allows attraction to grow organically. That patience is part of masculine energy, and it's one of the most reliable ways to attract women who value emotional safety. The third sign is the mirroring that betrays her. This one is almost impossible to control. You lean in, she leans in. You cross your legs, she does the same. You pick up your drink, moments later she mirrors the movement. This is called behavioral synchrony, and it's one of the clearest indicators of attraction because it happens unconsciously. Humans mirror people they feel connected to. It's a biological signal of rapport and alignment. And here's the part that surprises most men. Research shows that mirroring intensifies when someone is trying to suppress attraction. The more she insists you're just friends, the more her body may quietly contradict her words. That's not manipulation. That's internal conflict. Her mind is enforcing boundaries while her body seeks closeness. Don't confront her about it. Don't joke about it. Don't call attention to it. Be grounded. Let her feel safe in your presence. Masculine energy isn't about proving anything. It's about being stable. That stability creates space for attraction to deepen without resistance. The fourth sign is the laugh that reveals everything. Many men underestimate this because they misunderstand laughter. Does she laugh at things that aren't objectively funny? Does her face brighten when you speak? That's not because you suddenly became a comedian. It's because attraction amplifies emotional response. If she throws her head back while laughing, exposing her neck, that's a subconscious signal of vulnerability and trust. If she touches you while laughing, she's creating excuses for physical contact. If her laugh becomes slightly higher pitched around you than around others, that's her subconscious attempting to appear more appealing. These are not calculated behaviors. They are automatic responses driven by biology. This is where many men sabotage themselves. They either dismiss these signs completely or cling to them with desperation. Don't do either. Be observant without attachment. Confidence grows from understanding, not from overinterpretation. A high-value man recognizes patterns, not isolated moments. Now let's return to that one involuntary response mentioned earlier, the one that happens every time she's near someone she's attracted to. It's subtle. It's quiet. It's orientation. Her body turns toward you. Her feet point in your direction. Her shoulders angle toward you. Her torso aligns with you even when she's speaking to others. This happens quickly, often within 3 seconds. Her body chooses you before her mind explains why. Humans orient toward what feels emotionally relevant. When she does this repeatedly, especially in social settings, it's not coincidence. It's instinct. Her attention gravitates toward you even when she's trying to appear neutral. Don't exploit this. Use it as information. Be present. Be composed. Be intentional. This is where understanding how to attract women becomes less about technique and more about presence. Attraction deepens when she feels emotionally safe, subtly intrigued, and gently challenged. That balance is what allows connection to grow without pressure. And there is one more sign, one that very few men ever notice, yet it often reveals more than all the others combined. It's how she reacts when another woman shows interest in you. Nothing dramatic. No confrontation. No obvious display. Just a subtle shift in energy. When a woman truly sees you as just a friend, attention from other women barely registers. But when there is hidden attraction, especially attraction she hasn't fully admitted to herself, her response changes. Watch her eyes when another woman laughs at your joke. Notice how she suddenly grows quieter. How her smile fades just a fraction. How the rhythm of the conversation slows or breaks. This isn't obvious jealousy. It's instinctive awareness. A biological response that says, this matters. Her mind may not form the thought, but her body already has. And here's the key point you must understand. People only feel a sense of potential loss around something they value. A high-value man triggers this response not because he seeks attention, but because his presence naturally commands it. Don't tease her about it. Don't test her by exaggerating the moment. Be calm. Be steady. Masculine energy doesn't need to prove itself. It simply holds its ground. When she notices other women noticing you, and her demeanor shifts even slightly, that's a signal you are no longer sitting comfortably in this safe friend category. You've stepped into emotional territory she hasn't decided how to label yet. And that uncertainty is exactly what creates tension. This ties directly into how men attract women without pressure or manipulation. Not through possessiveness, not through performance, but through consistency, composure, and emotional restraint. When you don't seek validation, you quietly become someone worth validating. And in that space, her psychology begins to shift. Slowly, subtly, but undeniably. You must stop assuming silence means disinterest. You must stop believing attraction always announces itself clearly. Often it whispers. It shows up in glances, pauses, touches, mirroring, laughter, and body orientation that lasts just a second longer than necessary. Don't rush the process. Don't force clarity before it's ready. Be the man who notices, who remains grounded, who allows his masculine energy to set the emotional tone. That is how attraction grows naturally. That is how a high-value man moves through connection with calm authority. And that is how understanding these signs quietly transforms how you attract women, not by chasing, but by seeing what's already there. All right, my friend, before you go, I'm really glad you stayed with me until this moment. That alone tells me you're serious about understanding yourself and your situation better, and that already puts you ahead of most people. Let me be very honest with you. When you care about someone, the natural instinct is to give more, try harder, explain yourself, and prove your value. Almost every man has been there. But here's the hard truth. The more you chase clarity from confusion, the deeper you sink into it. Attraction doesn't grow from pressure. It grows from calm confidence and emotional self-control. The real power is not in forcing an outcome. The real power is in seeing reality as it is. When you notice the signs, trust them. When you don't see them, respect that too. Stepping back is not weakness, it's strength. Giving space is not giving up, it's allowing truth to surface. And truth, even when it's uncomfortable, always sets you free. If you see all the signs and you make your move the right way, you've done your part with dignity. If she still doesn't respond the same way, then she's not hiding attraction. She's simply being honest with you as a friend. And that's okay. That clarity saves you from months or even years of doubt, hope, and emotional exhaustion. Here's my sincere advice to you. Never build your self-worth on someone else's mixed signals. You deserve someone who chooses you without confusion, without games, and without hesitation. When you stop chasing what's unsure, you make room for what's meant for you. So take a deep breath. Trust yourself. Move with confidence, not fear. The right connection will never require you to shrink, beg, or overthink. If this opened your eyes even a little, type signs in the comments so I know you're really paying attention. Make sure you subscribe because what I'm covering next is even more powerful. I'll show you the exact words to say when the moment is right, without pressure or manipulation. And don't leave yet. Go watch the video on the screen right now. It breaks down the psychology behind why being slightly unattainable creates attraction and how to use that energy in a healthy, respectful way. Trust me, after that video, everything you learned today will finally click.